Hello guys and welcome back. Lex here, and today we are taking a detailed look at one of my real estate investment projects, and I'm going to show you exactly what I did, how much money I put into it, and how much money I am getting out of it now that I have it rented. So let's get started. Okay, so the project in question is in Bulgaria, in the seaside of Bulgaria, in the city of Varna, and it's a property which is located right in the center of the city, very close to a cathedral, which is an important landmark in the city. The property was extremely old and extremely poorly maintained, so what I did was I basically had to start from ground zero, basically take out everything, remove everything, all the flooring, all the paints, everything, including the piping and the heating systems as well. I had to renovate those as well, but that's what it used to look like. Now, previously that property was rented for about 150 euros per month in the poor condition that it was in. But due to the location of the property, I knew that with some renovations that we could get a lot more of rental income out of it. I knew that basically I could have gotten a big return by doing just very slight renovations, meaning that I did not have to go all out into buying fancier furniture or renovating it up to a more luxurious slash artsy type design. However, I do have kind of a sentimental value attached to this property, so I decided to instead spend a little more money than it is necessary, but I wanted to make it as good as possible, given the budget and the situation there. So it's possible that I could have gotten more return percentage wise and invested less money than I actually did, but that was kind of not my point, not my intention, because I also intended to use it personally and stay and live a while there, which I did, but nevertheless it was built for being rented out. And now we will go into a bit more detail to show you exactly the whole process and the calculations that I was making, because I was basically tracking the budget of this apartment basically item by item, and I have exactly the cost of what I paid for each and everything in that apartment. The whole renovation cost me about 22,500 euros, which is not an insignificant amount, especially considering the value of the property. But nevertheless, like I said, it had a bit of a sentimental value, and also it was the first property that I did, and I wanted to make it a bit more special, so that's why I put in more money than I actually needed to. Nevertheless, the ROI, basically return on investment, of the whole project is still something which is good and I'm happy with, and I will show you those numbers now. Okay guys, so I want to show you two files which basically kind of give you an idea of the finances of this project. And first, this is the file that I have tracked each and every expense of the project, basically per room, per item. So we have expenses for the bathrooms, expenses for the kitchens, for the living room, etc. I have basically by item, I know how much the lighting cost, how much the air conditioning cost, how much the boiler cost, how much the sofa cost, how much the TV cost, etc. And when I add up this whole Excel sheet, I get a total price of about 22,500 euros. Now, this document is in Bulgarian lev, so that's why the numbers that you're seeing might not make sense. But yeah, just to show you that I tracked each and every item. The next Excel sheet is the actual important one, because this is where we kind of break down the finances of the project. Now, before renovation, I estimate that the property was worth about 64,000 euros. And after renovation, I estimate the value of the property to have increased by 20,000 euros, which means 84,000 euros. How did I estimate that? I basically know the price per square meter in that area of the city. So I know that a property in the condition that it was in, meaning that in a poor condition, of the same type, because it's an old building, it is roughly about 800 euros per square meter, while a similar property but in a very good condition, renovated recently, would fetch about 1050 euros per square meter. That's how I estimated the total price, and I know that I basically increased the value of the property by 20,000 euros by renovating it for 22,500, meaning that not all of the costs of renovation was directly translated into an increase in price of the property. Now you might be saying, yeah, but that's not good, is it? Yes, because I know for a fact that I could have spent less and increased the property value by a similar amount. However, like I said before, that was not the idea of this project. I wanted to spend a bit more, make it a bit nicer, make it a bit fancier, because I was also planning to use it for a while myself, and after that I planned to rent it out. If I had wanted to actually sell the property, of course I probably could have spent about half this amount and still gotten the same price. But like I said, that was not the point. It's not the point to resell it. The point was, we want this property for rental income, and we want to use it for a while ourselves if possible. Anyway, how does the case for renting look like? Well, before renovation, this property, as it was in such poor condition, was rented for 150 euros per month, or 1,800 per year. That means that on the price of 64,000 euros, the return on investment per year was 3%, which is very, very low. And obviously, purchasing that property for such a price and then renting it so low would not make sense. But it makes more sense if you renovate it, of course. After renovation, the property was rented out, is currently being rented out for 700 euros per month, or 8,400 euros per year, which makes for a return on investment of 10%, which is more than 3 times better than it was before. So now this property is not only much more valuable than it was before, but it is also producing 3 times more rental income. So you could say that we optimized it quite a bit. I also wanted to check the case of basically if I had invested that 22,500 euros somewhere else, for example, in the stock market or in some kind of another vehicle. Because I already know that the property was rented for 150 euros before. When I remove 700 euros from that, which is the rental price after renovation, I get a 550 euros per month price solely because the property was renovated. So that 22,500 euros is giving me that additional income per month. By 12 months means that we get 6,600 euros per year of additional income from that property due to the renovation, or a 29% return on investment from the renovation, meaning that if I had taken that money and decided, okay, I can spend that money either renovating this property, or maybe I could have invested in the stock market. Judging by the return on investment, I made a good call, because had I invested that money in the stock market, I would have made about 25% last year. However, investing in the property, I instead can make 29%. And that 29% is consistent, while the stock market's 23%, likely this year would be minus instead of positive. So I definitely, when comparing to investing in the stock market, investing in the renovation of this property was a good call, judging by the 29% return on investment of the renovation. So that's basically it. Usually in a rental property that you purchase and that you renovate, or you just rent straight away, in most cases, most people will get between 4 and 7%, usually 5.5% of rental income per year. So having 10% out of a real estate investment property is pretty good in my book. Now, unfortunately, due to inflation, due to rising costs of living and everything, it is unlikely that I will be able to renovate my next property for the same amount, because I have basically the exact same property, but on a different level of the same apartment building. So it's likely that I will have to spend more, but nevertheless, even if I get about, say, 8% ROI per year, I'd say that's pretty good. Of course, now that I've done this, I have a bit of experience. I know a lot where I can optimize, where I can improve, where I can maybe bring the cost down. However, I can increase the potential for renting it out. And it's going to be interesting to track the same process, but for the next property, completely live with you as I go through the process itself. Now, I have started renovating that property already, and I will give you a few details on that and show you exactly what I'm doing, exactly how much I'm spending, exactly how it's going, basically day by day. That's it on the whole kind of basic finances of this property. I'd say I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. As you can see in the pictures, I think it looks good as well. And yeah, the potential for it to be rented out at even higher prices, I think, with the property markets in Varna and the rising inflation, etc., it is highly likely that after a few years, the property would be able to be rented for an even higher price. However, after that period, maybe we'll have some slight renovation to do again as well. Anyway, I am happy with it, and yeah, I hope this gives you kind of some inspiration to go out and do something similar yourself. Actually, I'm also looking into possibly doing something like this with external funding, because in this case, I funded this entire renovation myself, but potentially you can fund such a project with a financial institution, a bank, or someone who will loan you credit for that renovation amount for, say, like 2 or 3%. So it might make sense to do it with external funding, considering the ROI that you expect on that property. But yeah, depends entirely on the property itself, depends on the case itself. So you gotta weigh things on a case-by-case basis. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed this. If you've enjoyed this and if you want more, of course, slap that like button, because it helps me out and it helps the algorithm so more people can find videos like these. And yeah, let me know if you'd like to know more about some of the things that I discussed or something that you're interested in. I'd be happy to show you, because yeah, this is kind of stuff which is fun for me to do, fun for me to track. I'm interested in this type of stuff, so I'd gladly share this with you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.